what are the objectives of HRM? So there are four main objectives in HRM. The first one is social objectives, second one organizational objectives, functional objectives, and personal objectives. So social objectives. So social objectives is nothing but, so we have to follow some ethical standards. Okay, so we have to follow some ethical standards. We is nothing but the organization. Okay, so the organization has to follow some ethical standards. So social objectives. So show organization manages human resource in ethical and socially responsible manner through ensuring compliance with legal and ethical standards. Means whenever there is an organization, okay, so the organization has to follow some social, legal, and ethical standards. So there are some rules that mandatorily we have to follow. If the organization is not following a legal rules, then the government will take an action on that particular organization. Okay, so suppose for any labor the working hour is 12 hours. Okay, so maybe like 8 hours or 12 hours. Suppose take an example of 12 hours. If the organization's rule is the employee has to work for 15 hours, so it is not coming under social objectives. Means there are certain rules that we have to follow. Mandatorily we have to follow. Means the rule has to be followed. Okay, so 12 hours means exactly you have to work for 12 hours. In some scenarios, in case of any urgency, then yes, the time period can be extended. But when the time period is extended, for that extra time, the amount is payable. The wages or the salaries are payable for that extra time. Okay, so social objectives is nothing but the organization has to follow some legal and ethical standards. Next, organizational objectives. So first, so if you have an organization, so what is the primary objective of mine? To earn the profits, right? So here, so HRM should focus on achieving the goals of the organization first, right? So whatever will happen. So the first and foremost important thing is to achieve the objective. Okay, so this is a primary objective. So HRM should bring effectiveness in its employees of the organization. To achieve the goal, who is important? Is obviously the employees are important. Right? So what's the primary goal? To achieve the objective. From whom? From the employees. Means we have to motivate the employees to achieve the objective. That is what organizational objectives. So first we have to give preference to achieve the organizational objectives. Clear? Next, functional objectives. So HRM department should contribute at a level appropriate to the organization needs. Otherwise, the resources will be wasted. So just now, while discussing the second term of resource, so we have given a line or a sentence that is optimum utilization of resources. If the resources are not utilized in an efficient way, the resources are wasted. Right? Suppose take an example. An employee is there who is very expertise in marketing field, okay, but his knowledge is not at all used within the organizations for advertisements or promotions. Means the knowledge of the person is wasted, right? So if you go with some other example, like take an example of some machinery or equipment, okay, the equipment is there within the organization, but for certain period of time you are not using that equipment, means you are wasting that equipment, right? So whenever, so we are talking regarding functional objectives, so each and every resource should be optimally utilized, means no resource has to be wasted. Maybe it is in terms of like employee, or maybe it is in terms of a raw material, or maybe it is in terms of any machinery or technology or equipment, whatever it is, we have to use each and every resource in an optimum way, so without any wastage. So HRM should employ the skills and abilities of the workforce efficiently. So skills and abilities. So why we are recruiting a particular employee? It's obviously to use the skills. to use the knowledge, to use the experience of the particular employee. If you are not using the skills and the abilities of the particular employee, why you are recruiting that particular person? Right? So it should make its people strength and productive so that it helps in growth of the organization. Yes, this person is very skilled in marketing area. So with the help of this person, what we can do? Yes, obviously we go for the promotions, we go for the advertisements, we can go for digital marketing, right? So with the help of these things, what is the result? Organizational growth, productivity, right? So employees should be motivated and trained well so that they can contribute much better. So obviously, because of the changing environment, for each and everyone, they should provide a training because they can upgrade their skills, they can improve their skills. Okay. So this is regarding functional objectives. And the last objective is personal objectives. So HRM should increase employee job satisfaction. If I am giving my 100%, but I'm not satisfied with my job, so what would be the reason? The first reason, maybe I'm not at all satisfied with my salary. And the second reason, maybe I'm not compatible with my environment. Right? So there may be so many reasons. So first, the foremost thing is employee's job satisfaction. If he doesn't have the job satisfaction, he cannot give the 100%. So HRM should assist the employees in achieving their personal goals. Okay, so if I join a company, so in the initial stages, maybe I'm a fresher. After 5 years, I'm experienced in that particular field. Now I can say that I have a 5 years experience in this particular field. So now I am personally growing because I know how to implement a different strategies in the practical environment because I am learning and I am improvising my skills with the help of internal and external environment. So not only the employee is working for only organizational growth, but even he has to work for his personal growth. So it should develop the quality of work so that the employee can do much better. So has like in the first, maybe I joined as a supervisor. Okay. After 5 years, may I become a manager. Maybe within 2 years, I become a manager. Okay. If for the only like 5 years, I'm in the same position, there is no job satisfaction, there is no personal growth. Right. So HR should communicate HR policies to its employees so that HRM can understand the views, ideas, opinions, and feeling of the employees. Okay. So while coming to even in personal objectives, when a person has been recruited and selected for the particular organization, he has to be explained what are the different policies that the organization is following. After explaining, and even he should listen to the needs, opinions, and ideas of the employee. Okay, so this is regarding the objectives of HRM. So, how many objectives? Totally four objectives. What is that? Social, organizational, functional, and personal objectives. So, this is regarding objectives of HRM.